The diplomatic vessel Luminara hummed with controlled energy as it drifted through the neutral zone between Terran and Zothic space. Inside the observation deck, Emma adjusted her uniform collar and tried not to look as nervous as she felt. This was humanity's first formal cultural exchange with the Zothic Empire. A species that had only recently discovered humans weren't the primitive warmongers their reputation suggested. Beside her, Elijah seemed perfectly relaxed, his hands clasped behind his back as he gazed at the approaching Zothic vessel. "You look like you're about to face a firing squad," he murmured. "We're representing our entire species," Emma hissed back. "One wrong move and nothing. They invited us, remember? They're curious about us now." Emma wasn't sure curious was the right word. The Zothic were an old species, ancient by galactic standards, with customs and protocols that filled entire databases. They were tall, elegant beings with crystalline skin that refracted light in mesmerizing patterns, and they viewed most younger species with polite condescension. The airlock hissed open, and the Zothic delegation glided in. At their head was Ambassador Shirala, her prismatic form shimmering with what the briefing materials called diplomatic colors. Behind her came several attendants and one younger, Zothic female whose color shifted, with barely concealed amusement. Humans Emma Chen and Elijah Torres. Shirala's voice resonated like crystal chimes. "Welcome. This is my niece, Zarin. She insisted on joining our delegation. Something about studying your kind's entertainment value." Zarin's colors flashed, the Zothic equivalent of a smirk. Emma immediately disliked her. The tour began cordially enough. They showed the Zothic the hydroponics bay, the recreation areas, the culture rooms displaying Earth's diversity. Zarin commented on everything with barely veiled mockery. How quaint, she'd say. Or how functional. It was in the recreation lounge that things went sideways. Elijah had been explaining human social bonding rituals, how humans often gathered to share meals, play games, or simply talk. Zarin listened with that infuriating shimmer of amusement. Then suddenly, without warning, she sat directly on Elijah's lap. Emma froze. The other Zothic attendants' colors shifted to shocked purples and oranges. Ambassador Shirala's entire body went rigid. "Among your kind," Zarin announced loudly, clearly performing for her compatriots. "Is this not a gesture of casual dominance? I've studied your media." The superior individual claims the seating of the inferior as a, what did your database call it, a power move? A joke? She expected outrage, perhaps. Embarrassment. Maybe the human male would scramble away in humiliation. What she didn't expect was what actually happened. Elijah went completely still, not frozen still. The difference was subtle but profound. His breathing pattern changed, slowing to something controlled and deliberate. His muscles, which had been relaxed, suddenly held a different quality of tension, like a drawn bowstring. Emma recognized it immediately. She'd seen it once before, during a rescue operation on Tausedi 4 when their shuttle had been boarded by pirates. That was the last time she'd seen Elijah's combat protocols activate. Because humanity, in its desperate climb through a hostile galaxy, had engineered certain advantages into their soldiers. Nothing obvious. Nothing that would show up on standard scans. But buried deep in their autonomic nervous systems was a legacy of Earth's most brutal wars, reflexes hardwired into their very biology. The Zothic had evolved in a gentle world of consensus and ritual. Humans had evolved as persistence predators on a death world, then spent 10,000 years perfecting the art of killing each other. "Elijah," Emma said quietly, "stand down." His eyes hadn't left Zarin. "She's on top of me," he said, his voice flat and empty of emotion. Dominant position. Unknown intention. Potential threat. Zarin's amusement was fading fast as her crystalline sensory organs picked up the chemical. Changes flooding Elijah's system. Adrenaline, cortisol, norepinephrine, and something else. Something her species had never needed to evolve defenses against the predator reflex. "She's not a threat," Emma said, moving carefully into Elijah's line of sight. "She's an idiot, but she's not a threat. Do you understand me?" Calculating probability of hostile intent, Elijah recited, his voice mechanical. Analyzing optimal response patterns. Target weight manageable. Target position vulnerable. Estimated time to neutralization, 0.7 seconds. Zarin tried to stand, but Elijah's hand had moved. Not to grab her, but the motion itself was enough. It was the movement of something that had killed before, and would kill again without hesitation or remorse if the algorithm in his brainstem decided it was necessary. "Get off him," Ambassador Shirala commanded, her voice cracking like breaking glass. Zarin practically teleported off Elijah's lap, her colors flashing through distress patterns that would haunt her nightmares. The moment her weight lifted, Emma watched Elijah's pupils slowly return to normal size. His breathing evened out. The terrible stillness left his frame, replaced by confusion. What just happened?" he asked, blinking. "Your combat protocols activated," Emma explained gently. "When she sat on you without permission, your hindbrain interpreted it as a dominance, challenge from a potential threat." Ambassador Shirala's colors had shifted to something Emma had never seen before. What she would later learn was profound horror mixed with newfound respect. "Your species," the ambassador said slowly, "weaponized your own fear response?" "We didn't have a choice," Emma replied. "We're not ancient. We're not wise. We're just very, very good at surviving." Zarin was being escorted away by attendants, her colors still flashing distress. Emma felt almost sorry for her. "Almost, I think," Shirala said carefully. "We have significantly underestimated humanity's capacity for violence. You don't just fight. You've made weapons of your very bodies." Elijah, finally fully coherent, managed a weak smile. "We prefer not to. But evolution doesn't ask permission. Neither does history." The diplomatic exchange continued, but the tone had shifted fundamentally. The Zathik no longer viewed humans as amusing primitives. They viewed them as what they truly were: apex predators playing at civilization, and doing a surprisingly good job of it.